Pope Francis had a dream. He said, "I dream of a missionary option. That is a missionary impulse capable of transforming everything so that the church's customs, ways of doing things, times and schedules, language and structures can be suitably channeled for the evangelization of today's world rather than for her self-preservation." I want to share my dream for leadership in our parishes. I have a dream that the leaders in our parishes would be leaders who are driven by this missionary impulse Pope Francis talks about, that is capable of transforming everything in parish for the evangelization of today's world. Leaders that don't just maintain, but inspire, encourage and exhort their parish to become missionary centres that aren't declining, aren't just maintaining, but are growing. We need visionary leadership. Servant leaders who model their leadership on Christ's own leadership, balancing service and laying down their own lives with empowerment and delegation. Leaders who know Jesus intimately and draw their strength for leadership from Him, not from the opinions of others. And leaders that would call parishioners to more through the way they live their lives, but also explicitly in their words and encouragement, that they would understand that in the Christian journey, to love someone means to not allow them to stay the same. Leaders whose conviction about the mission of the church outweighs their fear of what people might think or say. Leaders who are self-aware enough to make sure their own personal issues don't become the parish's issues. I have a dream for the leadership teams within our parishes, that they would operate with purpose and clarity because they know their vision, they know their mission, and they're not settling for anything less. That they wouldn't just talk about their dreams, but they'd get down into the muck of it and actually make them happen too. That they would be teams that embrace their role wholeheartedly, stepping courageously and vulnerably into the team and not settling for bickering, backstabbing, or passive-aggressive behaviour that divides. Leadership teams that would model how to work effectively in teams, communicating openly and vulnerably and working through conflict rather than avoiding it or escalating it, because they know that on the other side of healthy conflict is a team that trusts one another and works together. Teams that don't micromanage, but recognise the giftedness of their parishioners and draw them into the heart and ministry of the parish community, not to give them a job, but because they know that when you put the right people in the right places, just sit back and watch the magic unfold. Leadership teams who would actively seek to change the comfort culture of their parish, because they know that growth happens outside our comfort zone. That clergy and laity would work alongside one another, valuing the gift that each other brings, building authentic relationship and challenging one another, loving one another and encouraging one another in their relationship with God and the call that He has placed on their lives, both individually and collectively. I dream of parish leadership teams that don't get bogged down by bureaucracy, but who instead are the spearhead of the parish, cutting into new territory every time they meet. That any parish meeting wouldn't be something to dread, but would be looked forward to with anticipation, because with it comes newness and freshness and inspiration. Leadership teams who will try new things because they know, they understand that the risk of doing nothing is far greater than the risk of failure. Leadership teams who would throw open the doors of their church and send their parishioners out to invite others in. Because when leaders lead from this space, we follow. Our church needs authentic leaders who will call us out of our comfort zones, who will lead us where the church has not yet gone but needs to go. In this post-Christendom secular age, the church finds itself in new territory. As Scripture says, for new wine, we need new wineskin. The mission of the church is still the mission of the church, but how we undertake it? Well, that's the new wineskin that we need to discover. And we can only do that if we have ears to listen to God's Spirit prompting us. Pope Francis said the parish is not an outdated institution. Precisely because it possesses great flexibility, it can assume quite different contours depending on the openness and missionary creativity of the pastor and the community. I dream of leaders in our parishes who are open and embody missionary creativity as they set out to renew their parishes and the world.